Welcome to Energizing Life with AKR Fitness. I'm Jase, your host. I made it to episode 2. I'm joined at the breakfast bar again by Mike and by Lynsey.
Hello.
Hello.
How we feel after episode 1?
Good to get it in the bank.
Good to get it.
Yeah.
Get
Nerves
that
have
first one started, rumbling, rolling, moving forward. In episode 1, if you haven't listened, we introduced ourselves and we spoke a little bit about what AKR Fitness was and why it started. And we ended with this notion of energy is everything. Today we're going to dive into that. Over to Mike. Tell me, energy is everything. Explain this mantra.
Energy is everything. It's an idea that I've kind of had for a long time. I'm not going to claim it's my own idea, but it's just something, for me, I really rely on my energy. And I think everybody can think of a time where they've had no energy, be it through illness, hangover, injury, whatever, when you're
Lynsey knows.
When you're a 0 out of 10 for energy, when you've got no energy, you've got nothing.
Everything's harder.
10 times.
Yeah, and think of a time when not even everything's harder, but when you're so unwell or, again, for some people, hungover, that you can't even move. You've got nothing. You can't do anything. And, energy is the currency of life. And I think when you're in that place, and I'm not even talking necessarily illness or hangover, but when you're in that place with low energy, I feel like there's this negative spiral that seeps throughout your life. So, for instance, that's when you're not going to show up and be very productive at work. You're outside of work, you're collapsing on the sofa as opposed to engaging in the world and, maybe doing a hobby or developing yourself. In your relationships, that's when you're snapping at people, You're
just not fun to be around when you feel like that.
Yeah, and life's not a fun
No,
thing.
It's not.
And the sad part of it is, we call it aging often,
Oh, it's just getting older.
It's just getting older. And of course there are parts of getting older that are unavoidable, but I think just always having less and less vitality doesn't necessarily need to be one of them. And so if we flip it around, and let's think of a time when you've got energy and you're more productive in work, you've got a life outside of work, you're more elegant in your relationships with other people, there's this positive ripple effect that spreads throughout every aspect of your life, and
everything's a bit easier.
Yeah,
it almost feels brighter.
Yeah. And so for me, again, I read that. I'd not heard it this way until I read it recently, but like energy being the currency of life, and for me, energy is everything, and that's it. When we have it, life is better.
Yeah, so if energy is the currency of life, how can we bank more?
Oh, I like that.
Oh,
I like that, Jase. I like what you did there. We didn't even rehearse that.
I
know. For us here at AKR Fitness, we see exercise as the ultimate make your life better tool. And another way of putting it is fitness generates life's energy. And fitness doesn't necessarily need to be, running marathons and becoming super fit, but just doing the basics of health. Health and wellness, we'll say, sleeping well and eating and getting fresh air and
looking after yourself.
Yeah. And again, doing that helps someone live an energized life.
You see it all the time when members come in and they've maybe had a hard day and they're feeling a little bit de-energized, and they walk through the door and it maybe takes them, a couple of minutes just to move the body, switch off and switch on to exercise. But I can guarantee by, the end of that 45, 50-minute block, they walk out with a spring in their step. They're like a new being, and it's incredible.
Best hour of their day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's incredible to see what just moving the body and feeling energized does. It's amazing.
And I think, though, to go on from that, Lynsey, if you think of people who come in for a 30-day trial, all bundle of nerves and anxiety and maybe, not being in a good place with their energy or with their health and fitness for a long time. And sometimes 30 days later,
they're
transformed,
right? like a new person. Yeah, it's incredible. And just, you can see the journey they go through from the minute they walk in, being, like you said, nervous, not really knowing what they're going to get out of this until the end of that 30 days where they are brighter and they move better and they just seem like they've got a spring in their step.
Yeah. Let's take it back a step even further. So before they even think of signing up, if fitness generates life's energy, why doesn't more people stick to it consistently or give it a bash or attempt to try it? Why?
I think there's a couple of things. Is is first of all, it can be very daunting, to get into, and I'm sure we'll elaborate on that as well. But the other thing is, it can be an acquired taste, fitness. So, like, I don't know, I'll think of an example. Take olives, for instance. So I mentioned the last episode, I was in Spain, and I've been to Spain a few times, and, you order a pint and you get a wee plate of tapas. And I don't know how many times I would try an olive and be like, oh,
It's 9 times.
still don't like it. Still don't like it. But now I love olives.
Oh, no.
And fitness can be like that. The first forays into it are scary, and you don't get back. You don't always get back immediately. Yeah. Sometimes you do, as Lynsey said. one workout can change your whole day. But if you're wanting to change things on a bigger scale, your outlook, your body, your things like that, it's going to take
Need that
an
consistency.
investment of time. Yeah.
And seem too far away, almost.
Yeah, and so add in all the sort of mental, emotional baggage of stepping out into a comfort zone, feeling stupid, not really knowing what I'm doing, feeling sore, all that sort of stuff. It can take a while for someone to begin to enjoy the taste.
Yeah. And just you said something there, Lynsey. It was like the expectations are too high from the start.
Yeah, the thing is with it, you want to start exercising and you think, oh, I have to go for a run or I have to do this. And it just seems far too overwhelming for people to take that first step.
Overwhelming and unattainable. So, like, I've been dabbling in guitar for years now, trying to learn it. But if I don't do it one day, it doesn't mean I've lost that skill. It's just I'll do it the next day. And it's sometimes I get this feeling where people think if they've not done it, that's it, everything's.
I think so. I think, when you mention those sort of expectations, I think even now, even today, which is mad, it's 2021, but the idea that people have of what it takes to live, fit and healthy, there's this impression that everything needs to be perfect, that you need to live this 100% pure life, when actually for more people it's just a case of, like, can you move your body?
Yeah. I've got this analogy I like. It's a moving dirt analogy, and it kind of relates. It relates probably to most things in life, but I always like to relate it to fitness, training, and nutrition. It's just moving dirt. Some days you've got a digger, some days you've got a teaspoon, but you just keep moving dirt. And I always like to think of that, especially when my energy's lower on days, and you think, oh, I know, but I can't be bothered. You know that you'll feel better afterwards, and it's retraining your brain, retraining your body to do the habit, to go, to keep the consistency, because the motivation, you'll feel it afterwards or once you've started.
I think for your analogy, Jase, I think for the person outside of the gym or outside of the fitness or exercise, well, they think that they have to use the digger only.
Yeah.
And that's an obstacle, because going for a 10-minute walk doesn't feel like
10-minute run.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like started. And talking about expectations, people think, oh, I need to run or going to, and we can get back to like the idea of going to a gym, which just feels so scary or daunting, to step into.
It's just a big metal playground.
Yes.
There's
Full of fit people.
Well, at least we think they are.
Yeah.
And they think they know what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
Just going back to that analogy again, you can't move the dirt until you just start, though.
Mm-hmm.
And I always like to think that's quite an important process to it. Is just get started.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that can be very scary. Scary.
Yeah. Well, any step out of a comfort zone,
like us doing this.
Exactly what I was going to say, Jase. We've been having a laugh about, gearing up for this podcast and nerves and whatever. But like any step outside a comfort zone is going to feel like that.
Uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing is people might not start fitness because they might not need to lose weight. I know you've got a story about this.
Yeah,
right?
well, I think that's unfortunately, the big news flash is that exercise in itself is not necessarily a great weight loss tool directly. I mean, it can be because it helps people improve their life in a number of ways, but it's frustrating that still nowadays exercise is seen only as a weight loss tool. So if someone, my story is, I remember, having a consultation with someone a while back, and I asked, does your husband exercise? And the lady says, oh no, he doesn't need to lose weight. And I thought that was incredible, because when we view exercise solely as a weight loss tool, then we've left so much on the table in terms of like what we spoke about, just general energy, but mental health, stress management.
It's never portrayed like that, though. It's always focused on weight loss.
Weight loss or aesthetics.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I made that big jump when I first got into the industry from, you know, if I had rippling abs and massive biceps, I'm going to get more clients, more men. Like, that's not what people. Okay, that's maybe what people want, but that's like, for the most part, you want to feel better, you want to look better, you want to move better, you want to age more gracefully. You know, you want to be able to do things when you're older and.
Or like, sorry to interrupt, but like for me, just saying yes to things. Like I've said this all the time, being able to, you know, your friends like, do you want to go snowboarding this weekend? I want to be able to say yes. Or, you know, do you want to go swim in the sea? I'd say no, but I could say yes. But just things like that. And that to me is so important. And that's what I would love to be able to help more people do, is to be able to experience life and say yes to things. And I think that's what's important.
Yeah, I think it's really captured well in that, you know, it's the ultimate make your life better tool. Be that, as you've said, Lynsey, giving you opportunities to go and engage in life and do activities, or just having a clearer head or better mental health and stuff. And, you know, the other example I like to give is with dogs, because people who have dogs don't walk the dog only to help manage its weight. Yeah. It's weight, it's body weight. It's taken for granted that dogs require movement and exercise to keep them healthy. Yeah. And people wouldn't dream of not. And you know, we're, as humans, we're animals. We're the same, you know. We need to move.
Definitely. What would be the first sort of step to getting energy? Just starting, moving.
To get energy, or to get involved in sort of fitness and exercise?
Just for energy. We'll talk about getting involved in fitness and exercise maybe in another podcast, but just like a few quick tips to. Have you got any tips that you use to energize yourself?
What I would say first of all is, when you identify that you're not in a great place, and that could be, you know, maybe unsatisfied with your body, maybe just tired and low energy, maybe stress, maybe not sleeping, maybe, you know, whatever it is. I think if someone identifies that, the first step, and I do this with myself, is I say, okay, well, how am I getting on with some of the basics? You know, have I got a consistent sleep-wake routine? Am I eating some vegetables and, you know, fairly consistently? Am I getting some fresh air? Am I moving my body and things like that? And I think most people, when they find they're not, and again, we'll probably discuss this a bit deeper in a future show, but when they find themselves not on top of their energy, they'll find that probably they're not doing some of these basics well, and these basics we'll get into a bit deeper.
Whereas often, if you find that you're in that low energy point, you tend to want to go all at something and take a big drastic change rather than small, nailing basics.
Yeah. Or people just find themselves stuck.
Yeah, or they don't move.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and that's, I think, as I touched on in the last episode when we did our introductions, that's been one of the biggest frustrations of mine about the gyms I worked in and the fitness industry, because these people who are totally stuck, you know, feeling not good about themselves. We've already said stepping out your comfort zone is difficult, and the very places meant to help people feel better, feel fitter, energize their lives, feel impossible to step into. And that was when we opened AKR Fitness, the first thing we wanted to do was create an environment in which the regular person can feel comfortable. You know, the person who's maybe never been in a gym, the person who's maybe been into gyms but failed, or the person who just doesn't like that environment.
I always like the ones who don't like the gym. I always like when they come in. And I always make it my mission to just, I'm going to make you like this.
You'll like this one.
You'll like this one. Yeah, definitely.
You're at home here.
I think people instantly feel safe.
Yeah.
You know.
All right, I want to do some quick tips. So if you're feeling a little bit de-energized, have you got one or two tips that work for you? What do you do to just give yourself a little energy boost?
You know, it doesn't even need to be fitness things. I would say for me, music could be one. fresh air, walk, putting on a podcast, educating yourself.
And
You're dying for this one, weren't you?
Go on.
Listen, I'm not ashamed to say this, but like for me, something's just going in the bath.
there it is.
I knew you wouldn't share that one. But it's something. It's kind of like exercise in a way, is that it can just change your state.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, it just was a better option than, you know, where people maybe go to food or alcohol or something like that. You know, it's just okay. Identify. I'm not feeling great. What can I do to help myself? You know.
Lynsey, do you have any?
I would agree with some of those. I think music's a big part of my life, and even just putting a really good playlist on, and you know what, just dancing around like an idiot in the kitchen, freeze a bird like that, and moving outside, just get outside, even if it's for 5 minutes. You know, it changes my mood instantly.
Absolutely. I'm very similar in terms of I need to move every day, and it could be anything from 2 minutes of stretching to, you know, an hour and a half of intense training. But as long as I do something, or especially when I'm starting to feel that kind of slump, and you get that during the day, I think, right, I'm just going to start moving here. Get moving, and once I'm moving, I'm, all right, okay, I'm into this now, or once you start the warm-up or whatever it is, you can then kind of take that ball and run with it.
And I will say one more thing, do not underestimate a nap.
I'm not really a napper.
I'm not a napper
I'm
either.
definitely a napper, split shift napper.
Split shift napper. And I'm more of a fake it till you make it.
No.
Just put music on, smile until that energy starts to rise.
Yeah. And it's worth saying as well, though, what we're not saying is that you need to be 100% energized all of the time.
No, we're humans, we're not robots.
I think there's almost like the two types of energy. Like there's like your day-to-day energy, which we've said can be lifted with a workout or with music or a nap or a bath or something like that.
Yeah.
But then I think what we're talking about here is more like this longer term energy, this more of a sense of well-being or vitality or something like that. And that's where we feel, you know, fitness, exercise, I think is the third time I'm going to say, is the ultimate make your life better tool.
Absolutely.
But fitness generates life's energy. And the key thing is that it's there for everybody, you know, and I think that's the fitness and exercise isn't just for young people, fit people, athletic people. Anybody can move their body and begin to improve their energy and their life.
Absolutely. I think that is a brilliant place to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me again today. Folks, next week we are going to talk about one of the biggest problems in fitness. That's all I'm going to say. Cliffhanger. So yeah, if you've enjoyed this, please join us for the next one, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much.